Hello, this is Turnabout, and today we're going to take a look at an iceberg from one of our favorite animated shows here on Blazethroughs, King of the Hill. King of the Hill was an animated show that aired from January 12th of 1997 to September 13th of 2009, created by Mike Judge and Greg Daniels. The show focuses on the Hills, a small family that lives in the fictional city of Arlen, Texas, and the daily happenings of them and their neighbors. In case you don't know what an iceberg is and somehow you found this video, an iceberg is a list of different facts and general knowledge about a certain topic. The deeper you go down the iceberg, the more obscure and lesser known facts we learn. We just wanted to really put together something for once with the script, and usually we do just kind of improv media if you look at our channel. And we thought, hey, let's do this. Let's sit down and do an iceberg video. So we found these other icebergs, got real blazed, sat and combined them down into a list we liked, while also adding a couple of our own little facts to the batch. Thank you again to Megamind Hive, the Megalodian Lemonade, Unusual Oranges, and Askell of Reddit for making these, because otherwise we wouldn't have known where to begin our iceberg. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So pack yourself a bowl, grab yourself a can of Alamo beer, and let's blaze through this iceberg. Propane. Something that comes up. Hank sells it. He works at Strickland Propane where he sells it.
I provide the people of this community with propane and propane accessories.
That's really it. Narrow urethra. Hank has one. He gets messed with a lot on the show, and it comes up from Peggy in the very beginning of the show. It's why he's very proud of having Bobby.
Hank has a narrow urethra.
Alamo beer. This is Hank and Company's favorite beer to drink. There is not really much more to say about it. I mean, it's shown a lot throughout the show, and there's a couple of episodes centered around Alamo beer. Nancy and John Redcorn affair. In the pilot episode of King of the Hill, at the 12-minute mark, I kid you not, the topic is covered. And yeah, we see Nancy and John Redcorn together for the first time. Joseph is the son of this very, very discreet affair. Pocket sand.
Give it! Pocket sand.
Boah. Something that Hank says a lot whenever he's surprised or startled by something. We even have like a collections list we grabbed from YouTube while working on this. That boy ain't right. It's something that Hank says anytime Bobby does something that Hank deems as weird, strange, odd. Yahoos and Triangles. If you don't know what the name is, you've still heard it. It's the theme song to the show. That's my purse.
That's my purse! I don't know you!
I mean, what else can I honestly say about it at this point? Vaya con Dios. It's really funny because if you type this in, you get a couple of music videos from various years. In King of the Hill, it's the catchphrase of the in-show character, Monsignor Martinez. And normally he says this right before he shoots someone. Ladybird. The family dog, a purebred Georgia bloodhound. Hank has a special attachment to Ladybird, and it's shown throughout the series how much Hank loves this dog.
I love you.
Peggy hate. honestly, we're huge fans of Peggy here. But throughout the years, you could see different reasons why people would not like Peggy or have huge issues with Peggy. Some of the hatred, though, that's centered around it, I'm just going to be honest, is a little sexist, but there's a lot better facts to go down on. So, moving on. Peggy Spanish. Um, so if you told me this is one of the reasons you hated Peggy, I totally get that. I mean, I can you like we're gonna show some clips because like Peggy's Spanish is
And fabrica cigarros.
rough. Boggle. Peggy's favorite game to play to a point where she earns a championship title over it. To be honest, I think it's just known for being a really memorable episode. Taste the meat, not the heat. Strickland Propane's slogan, it's mentioned in the season 5 episode titled Hank's Choice, in which Hank unknowingly hires a drug addict. I think at least it's what the folks on the iceberg are talking about, or it could be this music video by Geek Heavy.
I'm gonna be grabbing that booty, but you know I ain't gonna be touching Hank's wife. Losing my shit in the war, you want war, I'ma take you to the mountaintop. Pull out my AK and pulling the trigger, you know that your body will try.
I don't honestly know. Arlen, Texas. As mentioned earlier in the video, it's a fictional town. Creator Mike Judge has been quoted saying the town was an amalgamation, I can't say that word, of numerous suburbs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Adult Swim bumps. During the time in which Adult Swim had the rights to King of the Hill, which comes up later on the iceberg, there were some pretty cool Adult Swim bumps that aired alongside just normal airings of Adult Swim. We'll showcase them here.
King of the Hill is brought to you by Dale's Dead Bug.
Dr. Walter O. Snelling, father of modern propane, once said a steel bottle full could light an ordinary home for 3 weeks.
Strickland Propane.
Cotton Shins. Cotton is Hank's dad. Cotton fought in World War II and lost his shins. He brings it up a lot. There's some inconsistencies though throughout the series that come up about his story, but from what we've gathered, he lost his legs fighting in Japan. We're moving deeper down the iceberg. These next set of layers are going to be a little more dark and a little more fucked up as we go on. So just a warning ahead. Careful, trigger warnings. And yeah, we're going to proceed down. Jane. In the season 6 episode, perfectly titled Fun with Jane and Jane, Luann tries to join a sorority only to end up joining a cult in which once you join, you become a Jane. It's really weird shit and features Tara Strong for a little bit. The beat pot's really good with the guys trying to kill some emus for Buck. Alamo soap incident. Well, we all know about good old Alamo. In Beer and Loathing, we see Peggy working for Alamo Beer as a phone rep, where she learns that Alamo is temporarily diverting beer to Mexico, but then learns that the beer's tainted and makes everyone sick, including Hank and the guys, and I guess Peggy only tells so much of the truth to Hank, and Hank promises he's not going to go down there, and then he does. It's like a shortage that occurs in Ireland, and yeah, it just circles back to Hank being a dumbass. Bill is Bobby's actual father. This is one of the theories that you can see most commonly online, but in this theory it's stated that since the show's canon, that Hank has a narrow urethra, it makes it harder to have kids. So it's likely that Peggy cheated on him with Bill. That's why she's awkward or weird around Bill, and where Bill's obsession with Peggy comes from. I mean, I don't really believe it, but I could see where some people could see that. Things debunking that are in episodes featuring Baby Hank. You can see that Bobby looks just like Baby Hank. Peggy is a narcissist. We're going to get real professional here. Narcissistic personality disorder is the personality disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationship, and a lack of empathy for others. This one should be in red, in my opinion. Like, it should be a theory thrown around. And I really think we just added this one because it's on all 4 of the other icebergs we gathered from. There are some theories and examples pointing to Peggy being a narcissist, and in some places on the internet there are points being made that Peggy isn't one, such as the Reddit Raised by Narcissists. Honestly though, I mean, we're kind of on the fence because there's different, like, have you seen what Peggy's done? Octavio. He's a really chill dude. He's just a friend of Dale and is usually involved with Dale's weird hijinks. Propane. A video game made in the episode Grand Theft Ireland. The fuck? The game is a parody of the popular Rockstar game Grand Theft Auto. Great job, me. Great notes.
Rusty Shackleford.
Okay, cool. So this is actually 2 things. One, it's a stupid alias that Dale uses. And 2, it's an actual person that Dale later learns isn't dead, and that all the dumb shit he's been doing to this been bothering this guy, which is featured in Season 11, Episode 9. Boomhauer's voice origin story. Mike Judge is quoted here in this clip explaining said story. It's actually pretty hilarious.
I got a voicemail once from this just deranged hillbilly guy. This guy was like, he thought the name of the show was Porky's Butthole. This is where I got the voice later for Boomhauer on King of the Hill. This guy, his message started out, he goes, I've been calling y'all spit in mud now, grab at y'all every time I bang on Porky's Butthole, come on. Adult Swim losing the rights in 2018. Adult Swim played King of the Hill for a while until 2018, when Adult Swim lost those rights, along with the Cleveland Show being another show they lost to FXX. Like, holy crap, who doesn't Disney own now? They got the rights back though at the end of 2021. Funny enough, they started with Bobby Goes Nuts. George Bush Limp Handshake. In the season 5 premiere, The Perils of Polling, Hank meets George W. Bush and shakes his hand, learning that he has a limp handshake. It's a really funny episode that showcases Hank sticking to his beliefs, no matter how silly they might seem. Peggy'sFeet.com. In the season 4 episode, Transnational Amusements presents Peggy's Magic Sex Feet. This is the name of the fetish site that she ends up having, being tricked into thinking it's an educational movie for big feet positivity. What the Bart doll. From the fandom wiki, occasionally seen when scenes show the interior of Bobby's room, there's a Bart Simpson doll sitting on the shelf. Ooh, we're getting deeper now. On to the 4th layer. Hank was born in New York City. In the 10th episode of Season 5, titled Yankee Hanky, it's revealed that Hank was born in New York City at Yankee Stadium because of some antics that Cotton was getting himself into. Miss Wakefield. In what I personally think is a weirder episode, it's the 2nd episode of Season 9, titled Miss Wakefield, in which during the Christmas holiday, the character visits the hills and explains how she used to live there and how she wants to die in their house. I really feel a lot of ways about this episode. A lot of YouTubers have done interesting reviews about it, and you should check those out. I think Hank was in the right. Anthony Page, a character who first appeared in the pilot. Also known by and referred to as Twig Boy, Anthony Page is a government worker who first comes to investigate Hank and Bobby after Bobby comes to school with a black eye. He appears again in Junkie Business,
We talk a lot about this episode on the iceberg, I think. Defending Leon when Hank fires Leon for being high on the job. Boomhauer's job. Whoa, big spoiler. Whoa, whoa. It's revealed in the finale he's a Texas Ranger. Boo. There's a lot of debate and argument among the fandom, with some saying that there's inconsistencies with him being a Texas Ranger, and some people point that he could have saved the group's asses several times. Hank appears in The Simpsons. Okay, cool. So this one was a lot of fun to research. On the Simpsons wiki, there's a whole list of references in different times the Hills, or specifically Hank, have appeared. So here's the clear appearances. We've got this first one, Bart Starr, season 9, episode 184. The second example is Missionary, Impossible, season 11, episode 241. The 10% Solution, season 23, episode 494. Junichiro. In the two-part episode Returning Japanese and Returning Japanese 2, oh god, it's revealed that he's Hank's half-brother from a relationship Cotton had while serving in the war. It's neat because Junichiro even shows up again in the background of Luann's wedding towards the ending of the series in season 11, Lucky's wedding suit. WD-40. Hank really likes WD-40. There's this episode that people meme a lot. Yeah, here it is. Howard Adderley. In the fourth episode of the series, Hank's Got the Willies, he's mentioned by Hank to Bobby while talking about role models. Bobby then claims that Howard is a second role model due to his video game abilities. He's a deformed-looking kid heavily based on nerd stereotypes at the time. Pops died on a lawnmower. Ted Papicito, aka Pops, died of a heart attack on his lawnmower in the season 4 episode Moving On Up. Hank smoked weed. In the season 4 episode High Anxiety, Hank accidentally smokes a joint offered to him, thinking it's a cigarette, while Hank waits for Debbie at her apartment. Taste the heat, not the meat.
Lord, no!
I'm dead serious. I think it's so funny I wrote this down as part of the iceberg, because I really love this episode in which Hank hires the addict, because he doesn't know how to address that he was actually attracted to the woman he wouldn't hire, who was qualified earlier in the same episode. But the line that I'm laughing at, the taste the heat, not the meat, it's in this scene where Leon picks up the phone and answers incorrectly, and Hank's reaction is priceless. And then what's even better is the fucking fact that the person on the other end of the phone is so upset by it that Hank has to apologize for the slogan being said wrong. Dale knows about the affair. This is a theory passed around a lot over the years, from lists on 2019 on Ranker to even older posts on 4chan. People have been discussing that Dale knows, and here's why. A lot of these theories also come from r/fan theories. Dale's paranoid as all fuck with all his conspiracy shit. And Nancy does Dallas. Dale mentions how he monitors all incoming calls. This is season 13, episode 13. And he's walked in on them tons of times, so we think that the theory here is pretty solid. There's other claims that that's the whole humor too. That's the defense, is that even though he's all these things, he's not aware that Nancy is cheating on him. All right, we're on the 5th layer. Here we go. 3 different interpretations of Maddie Platter. So this was a pretty cool one to research. In earlier episodes of the show, Peggy's mom, Maddie Platter, is shown to look just like an older version of Peggy, but in later episodes they changed her look entirely, sticking with their final design in season 9 premiere episode, A Rover Runs Through It. Bill's attempted suicide. So like while researching this one, at first in the list it says suicides, but if you watch this series it looks like it's just this one. But throughout the show it's implied he's done this before, with the key episode discussing this being season 3 episode 9, Pretty Dresses. Peggy abducts kids. In the episode Lupe's Revenge, season 6 episode 3, Peggy accidentally abducts a girl from Mexico. Her bad Spanish finally catches up with her in this, and she almost goes to jail. Clean burning hell.
That's a clean burning hell, I tell you what.
In the episode Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret Hill, Peggy impersonates as a nun to get work as a teacher. Tom Anderson, a character from Beavis and Butthead who is usually the victim of their dumbass antics. He was originally intended to be Hank Hill's dad, but Fox couldn't obtain the rights to the character from MTV, so we ended up getting Cotton. Bobby cooks meth. In the season 7, episode 3, titled Bad Girls, What You Gonna Do?, Connie's cousin, voiced by the amazing, wonderful, beautiful Lucy Liu, Tid Powell, comes to Arlen and convinces Bobby to make meth lab for their science fair project, claiming they're making rock candy. Luann is a communist. In the first episode of season 5, titled The Perils of Polling, Luann is unimpressed by George Bush's whole thing, opting into registering as a communist in the 2000 elections. Lady Bird still has it out for Bobby. Watching this scene like 15 times, I can see why most people are confused. I'm honestly still confused, and I researched it. In the season 8 episode, That's What She Said, there's a brief scene where they're discussing Hank's new co-worker who will be coming in, and Peggy mentions that 13 years later, Lady Bird still has it out for Bobby, which then Hank clears his throat and gives her those shady eyes. What the fuck, Hank? Last season aired Out of Order. This took a little bit more investigating and more understanding on my part, so I'm going to do the best to explain this to my abilities. According to the wiki, the show had originally aired 13 episodes, but Fox decided to keep the show in production for 4 more episodes. Then they aired those episodes after the final episode aired during its syndication run on Adult Swim. So the series finale in airing order would be Just Another Manic Conde? I don't know. But in production order, the finale is To Sorrowland with Love, which is much, much better an ending. Bill's childhood. Bill originally comes from an upper-class Cajun family in Louisiana, becoming fluent in both Cajun French and Tagalog. He can play the accordion as well. His father, Eric Daughtry, was really abusive, spanking him and often making him wear dresses as punishment. Dale's mother. Mrs. Gribble, the only name I could find on her, was the wife of Bug Gribble. She's only really mentioned twice in the series and only seen once in a flashback in the season 5 episode 12 titled Now Who's the Dummy? The PC game. The King of the Hill PC game wasn't very good and clearly was just a cash grab shovelware type game that just featured some weird point and click scenes and some mini games, including hunting and mini golf. It's weird, but there's a long play of it online if you're interested in checking it out. Harlot Town. Okay, so I spent a while on this one, okay, honestly. So here's a quick synopsis of what I found and how I gathered why it's sitting on this iceberg. Season 10, Episode 4, titled Harlot Town, is a story about how Peggy writes an article about a rock formation in the town that's been defaced, and during the researching process, she discovers that the town was founded as a brothel. Pretty cool in my opinion. We're pro-sex work here, so cool. There's a lot of interesting discourse as well about the quality of the episode, where some folks say it's a weird episode where Hank cleans up something and Peggy gets tossed to the side. Also, Hank kind of like pushes his beliefs and kind of throws Peggy's whole thing about trying to make the town more money and to help it become better because now it has a tourist attraction and makes money. But then there's other sides stating that it's an interesting commentary on how small towns will sometimes just use gimmicks and it damages the town structure, and it's really cool to discuss. We're reaching the 6th layer of the iceberg and we're really getting into some weird shit, so hang in there, we're almost done. Fox Kids head for the hills. This was an ad that was featured on the airings of the Fox Kids lineup. What a time for animation.
Repeat business like that, I could eventually be supplying propane galaxy-wide.
Luann topless outtake. So Fox used to have this blooper show, and one time they made one of the King of the Hill, which was really just new animation for the sake of comedy and to bring in more viewers to the show. It's going to be featured here. Khan has manic depression. In the last episode to air in the series, Just Another Manic Khan Day, we learned that Khan has manic depression and has been taking medication for it for years. Min and Connie leave for the week and ask Hank to keep an eye on him. Khan slips on getting his meds and Hank convinces him as well to stop taking his medication. It's rather interesting episode showcasing a moment where Hank and Khan could possibly have been seen as friends, but also Hank learning to keep some of his shit and his opinions on mental health to himself. On the lighter side though, the B-plot episode features Bobby finding an album of Raymond J. Johnson and learning about how it's the only thing that makes Hank laugh. Theatrical short. So there's a lost theatrical clip on YouTube posted by user Lights Camera Action, which I'll show here. But like it's basically just a really funny clip featuring some random ass scenario in which the aliens attack the US, Bobby is large, Dale is invisible, and Hank has a genie to give him wishes before things are reset and you learn that you're watching a film. Cuffs and Collars. In the Season 2, Episode 17, Hank's Dirty Laundry, it's the porn film Hank is accused of not returning before learning of how it was part of a big cyber conspiracy called The Beast. He wins thanks to Bill, leaving him some clues. YouTube poops. YouTube poops are a weird part of internet culture in which people will take episodes of different shows like Mario Brothers cartoons or Sonic and edit them in obscure and weird ways. King of the Hill is one of the more popular shows that got edited in the peak of YouTube poops. Some of the best ones in my opinion being Boggle Crunch and Jot Deadcorn, both made by user Duram Rockers.
Well, Bobby, this is it.
I better go soon or I'm gonna miss my bus.
Oh,
Bobby is Llama Sanglug. So, a popular theory within the King of the Hill fandom, in the episode 18, season 4, titled Won't You Pee My Neighbor, some Buddhist monks come to Arlen looking for the reincarnated Lama Sanglug. During the first test they give to Chain Wasana-song and Connie, Bobby grabs the cane the monks have displayed for the test to help Connie, but he ends up having them believe that he's the llama because it's the cane that the llama used. At the final test for Bobby, he ends up picking Connie from the mirror he sees on the display. Turns out the mirror was also the llama's that was dead, and the lead llama exclaims that it was a tough call, but it was mine and I made it. And I guess folks assume from that point that, like, yeah, Bobby's the reincarnated Lama Sanglug, but he's just choosing to live in this life. And that's a pretty cool theory. Hank refuses to acknowledge that Cotton is mentally ill. Throughout the series, it's implied that Cotton had some form of PTSD, like in Next of Shin, Season 3, Episode 5, or his last episode, Death Picks Cotton, Season 12, Episode 5. One of Hank's biggest issues is how often he will just downright ignore any of his father's issues. And the best example is in Season 8, Episode 16, named Dale Tech, in which Cotton is hired as a security officer for Dale's security company. I mean, it's funny too, though, because at the end of the episode, he's right. But, Cotton is wild. Well done steaks are a sin.
What if somebody wants theirs well done?
We ask them politely yet firmly to leave.
I love this show. Honestly, one of my, just favorite lines. Look at both their facial expressions during this. Anyway, we're about to dive into the final official layer. Arlen's Occult Underground. So, in the Season 7, Episode 23, The Witches of East Arlen, we see that Bobby joins a weird D&D group that takes RPing way too far. Honestly, though, researching this really just pulls up this episode and a clip that I'll showcase. I will say, though, while these things mentioned are not really of the occult, The Weird Cult and Fun with Jane and the infamous Season 7 episode Pygmalion are both really creepy episodes that kind of vibe with this occult underground idea. Otherwise, I don't know too much more about this. Kid Hauer. Kid Hauer is the fan-given name to the kid here. He goes to Tom Landry with Bobby and company, and he looks a lot like Boomhauer. In earlier episodes, he's appeared as a good friend to Bobby, but eventually he just became a background character. Garth. Garth is another random kid who was friends with Bobby and Joseph, but never appeared again after Season 2. Oh, he also looks like Kid Boomhauer? Whoa, Boomhauer, what the fuck? Boomhauer was tasked to Dale. Okay, I guess we're just gonna keep talking about Boomhauer. It's stated in the theory that Dale was just tasked to watch, or it was stated that Boomhauer was there to watch Dale. That's the theory. There's a whole link in the description for anyone who wants to read this theory in full. Buck tried to frame Hank for murder. In the Season 4, Episode 14, titled High Anxiety, there's a whole murder mystery that happens, and Hank smokes weed, but then he's accused of a murder, but then it's revealed that it was an accidental suicide. That it was Buck having an affair with the person who was murdered, and then it turned out he tried to frame Hank for doing it, and then Hank was totally cool with it at the end of the episode, and it's what the fuck. Live action Montsegur Martinez. So I guess Fox wanted to turn on the show in a show into a real live action series that was on Fox. Here's the pilot. It's fucking great. Look at that last line. Because I had no toilet to flush it down.
Because I had no toilet to flush it down.
That's great. Pygmalion original airing. Oh, fuck yeah, we're getting into the creepy shit. So, in the infamous episode Pygmalion, there's an urban legend that surrounds it. It says that you could literally see Tripp's bloody corpse hanging off a hook in the background while Peggy and Luann rejoice over surviving the whole ordeal that took place. If you look in the fandom wiki for the episode, you can find a neat little creepypasta type story in the comments about someone who went to find it. The Swamp. Kind of weird, but this just pulls up the episode A Beer Can Named Desired and Of Mice and Little Green Men. Soda becomes Alamo Beer. In the Season 1 episode 12, Plastic White Female, there's this now well-known animation error, which features in one frame Bobby drinking a can of soda, then in the very next frame, we see what he looks like an Alamo beer can now he's drinking. 9/11 never happened. So looking this up, it just leads to literally a lot of weird 9/11 shit. I even typed King of the Hill, 9/11 never happened, and I just keep getting sites about 9/11. Anyway, from what I remembered, like some kind of fan discussion was brought up that in the King of the Hill universe there would be no 9/11 because could you imagine how the whole group would act about it? So, after the official layer ended the way it did, and I learned new information and got suggested another couple of extra bits of trivia, we decided to do this last layer. It's not on the official iceberg, so hang in there as we go through these. We're going to try to speed it up a little bit. Thank you so much for making it this far with us. Bobby, I've got propane in my urethra. Simpsons episode 321, season 15. You can hear this being said from the television.
I hope you're happy. Obviously, yes.
Bobby, I got propane in my urethra. We'll be right back with Who Will Marry a Million Bears?
Hank Hill prank phone calls. There's a collection of weird-ass prank calls to different locations where they use audio bits of Hank talking to mess with people. Sometimes it's really stupid, sometimes it's actually pretty funny. We're really more confused because sometimes they can't tell or like don't hang up because it's kind of obvious it's like an audio recording. I don't know.
What the hell kind of country is this where I can only hate a man if he's white?
I don't know.
What nationality are you?
Mexican? Latino?
Thanks for calling AOL. My name's Bree. How can I help you today?
Hi there.
Hi.
The name's Hank Hill.
Okay. How can I help you?
Hank uses crack to catch fish. Season 2, Episode 5, so Jump In, Crack a Bass. It's a gas, gas, gas. Features Hank buying crack because he thinks it's bait for fish. Honestly, we didn't see this one mentioned more. We're kind of surprised about that. I think we only saw it on one other iceberg.
I've always been a worm man, but Ray was telling me about your bait and...
Bait. You call it bait. I like that way you spin.
Well, I got 20.
20 get you all the bait you need, Jack. Rock on.
Huh. Freshness jars. Sure don't get that at Megalomart.
Bobby Hill, KK Plus, pop up in Hong Kong. Yeah, so toy designer company KK Plus ran a pop-up store in Hong Kong from August 12th, 2022 to September 10th of 2022. It was filled with different merch and figurines you could buy. A lot of news sites say that the Bobby Hill meme is just super popular on the internet. That's why this space was meant to celebrate, which is pretty cool. Alternate ending. Honestly, Johnny Two Cellos does a better job explaining this one, but it's more of a joke about the show's continuity. So go check that video out after this if you're interested in a more in-depth analysis. But to summarize it, the ending would have taken place in the season 11 episode Lucky's Wedding Suit, and it features a scene where our fave 4 are drinking in the back reminiscing about the past events of the show, where Hank mentions it's been about a year since. Now that I have better context of the scene, it's really funny. We're also going to clip the Reddit post here, where you can see a link to the scene we're talking about. And with that, that's the end of the Blaze Through's King of the Hill Iceberg. Hey everyone, thank you so much for making it through the video. We hope you enjoyed it. The music is made by Baby Stans, another member of Blaze Throughs. His band name is Virtual Boys, and his stuff is on Bandcamp, so take some time if you want, check that out. We definitely love using the music on the channel, lol. But I honestly wanted to make sure you all knew that I wish the edit was a little better, but I'm really proud of it either way. It took about 1.5 years, and I felt that it would be, about time to finally put it out, so I could push myself forward into more editing and getting into the routine of it all. But yeah, expect more icebergs and other videos like this coming out sooner than later. We got a Pokemon video essay, the Osmosis Jones episodes coming out of Pokemon that we did, and our Persona 5 playthrough. Check us out on Twitch on Thursdays, and other stuff we post. Anything else is going to be on YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much again for checking this out and this iceberg, and see you again next time. Stay blazed, everybody. Thank you. Oh shit, stay blazed.